were so committed and thought this is who we are. We really want to get this happening. We want to change the behaviour, change the standards, help get that behaviour where we made a commitment ourselves within our business to get traffic controllers off the road.
It's not really an industry that you grow up thinking, I want to get into the traffic control industry.
No, I always say when we talk about people, talk about our people and how we train within. One of the first things I say the exact same thing. We have an industry where, no one goes to school or grows up or are born and say, I want to be a traffic controller. They want to be a fireman, they'll be a nurse, they'll be a doctor, they'll be a lawyer, I want to work in construction, I'll be a plumber, I'll be a builder. No one ever says, I want to be a traffic controller.
Yep.
So you did, right. It's very interesting and everyone's got a story how they get into the industry.
Yep.
And that's and they're all unique in their own little ways.
Yeah. So I guess a little bit about you and how you ended up in the industry.
It's a very long story and I'll try to keep it as short as possible. But in 2000, I'm a graduate. I had working multinationals in Sydney, and then my uncle said, he's a crane driver, and he said, he was with my auntie, and he said, I need your help. Come down, join me. He just started the business. I said, what's all this about? So we're in the crane hire business and labour hire business, and it was in Wollongong, right?
Yep.
So after about 12 months of discussions, of really just him trying to convince me to come down, I said, yeah, let's get on with it, right? So I solved everything up in Sydney and moved back down to Wollongong, and it was just me, him and my other auntie in admin, and we're running the business basically. He was looking after the cranes, I was looking after labour hire and trying to build some systems around the business, and mate, just head down, resilience and hard work, and doing what we know what we can do.
Yep.
So that was going fine, and in 2003 we had a WorkSafe come around, a work cover at the time, not happy about one of our sites because the traffic control was inadequate. And we said, well, not us, it's talk to the traffic control company. And they said, no, it's you because you're the principal site, you own the site. So after that happened, we thought, that's no good, because we have a lot of pride in our work and how we deliver.
Yep.
So we're not happy about this. Why don't we just do it ourselves? And that was the question that pretty much the catalyst that got us into traffic management.
Yeah.
So as soon as we looked at setting up a little crew to do our own traffic management, our clients were saying, oh, you know that we have a demand for this. And one of our largest clients at the time was Endeavour Energy. And so we met with them and say, listen, if you don't mind, we'll do our own traffic management. And I said, okay, while you're at it.
Do you want to do ours?
Well, they already had a supplier. They said, listen, we're happy to see a proposal. And so we put one together and we said, this can't be that hard, can it? And of course, the famous last words, right? Famous question. And then we started getting into the detail of it and said, oh, wait a minute, this is like, there's a fair bit of work involved here. But at that time, we had really grown to about 14 cranes. We had our labour hire business was quite predominant in the area, and construction and the steelworks at the time. We had some unsustained growth at that time. Like from 2000 to 2007, 7 years was huge. It was just pure growth in construction and mining and the steel industry. So Fabian, that's when our third partner, Fabian, said, I really want to get involved with this. So Fabian and I locked ourselves away. I said, well, come with me. We sat down for 2 days, put a business plan together, looked good, got some capital behind it, made some investments, and started that business, D&D Traffic Management. Yeah, and we didn't have any clients.
And that was
2003. So that's how we got into traffic. And I said, okay, let's see how this goes. And we're always confident in what we do, because when we set a business plan, we'll ensure that the detail always gets you unstuck. So and I get stuck into the detail to ensure that the structure's right, the people are right, the model's right, and then we'll revisit it. Especially at the beginning, we're just looking at it very, very closely for the first 6 to 12 months.
Yep.
And our first client was Endeavour. They had there was an impact. It was a Good Friday. It was a Thursday night before the Good Friday at Easter. The supplier said, sorry, can't help you because I think they were all on holidays or something.
Right.
And they rang us at 5:30 in the evening and said, we'll be there in half an hour. And that was our first ever job for an external client.
Yep.
So we're doing the traffic for ourselves,
Yep.
but that was the first ever job for a client. And then ever since then, Endeavour was our client for after that job. So Endeavour were our first client and Boral Asphalt were our second client.
Yeah, right.
And then obviously, Boral are still our clients now as well.
Yep.
And the rest is history. But that is how we stumbled into traffic management.
That's it. Most people, like you have conversations like this, and everybody seems to stumble into it.
Yeah.
No one makes a concerted effort to go, hey, let's go into traffic management.
And to be honest, we actually started falling in love with it. It was really our passion really started shifting from our crane and labour hire business into traffic management, and then we felt that because we could see it just as a growing industry, all our conversations of planning or spending obviously less time in the other sides of the businesses and more time in the traffic business, and it really started to grow.
Things progressed from 2003 through till.
Yeah. So what happened was it was going so well. I was so excited about it. And the crane business was going strong. It was fine. There was a couple of changes. So we had mobile cranes, and that's very important because that means that we'll constrict it to one area because you can't drive those things 100 kilometres. You've got to drive 10 kilometres to a drop, 20 k's. Otherwise, there's too much strain on the massive piece of capital, right?
Yep.
So the crane was strong. It was fine. But there was a bit of a shift in construction. There was still the mining booms, and we knew that there was a lot of the mines were short of cranes. They needed cranes.
Yep.
And we made a decision that had a look at the whole business in the next 5 to 10 year bold sort of planning, and said, no, traffic's our future. And so I raised it that I think we should divest the cranes and invest in traffic and grow the business over the next 20 years. Didn't take much convincing. The board, but everyone backed it, agreed, and it was great timing because Boom Logistics were looking to acquire some businesses. They were looking to grow because they had to fill all the gaps, these crane gaps. So we sold to Boom Logistics in 2007. It was April 2007. It was actually good because the other decision was we wanted to build grow our traffic business, but the first part of that growth will be an immediate acquisition. So I was on the lookout for a small boutique company.
Yep.
Didn't want a large one because it's very, very difficult to get the transition happening with cultures.
Yep.
Found a very small company in Sydney, approached them. I threw an associate and a colleague, and they were keen to sell. They only had one client. I said, perfect, that's all we need. We only need one client.
Yep.
And so we actually sold the crane business on April 11, and that completed on the 11th of April, 2007. And the acquisition completed on April 18, which was my birthday, 2007. And that's how we moved into the Sydney market and really just took off from there.
And you guys, from what I gather, sold Brisbane to be able to invest.
Yeah. So there's a few questions around that. As you can imagine, there's a lot of murmurs and what's happening. Why D&D? They just gone to Brisbane. Why are they selling? And it was full disclosure. So when we went to the market and sat down with Warp and we had the discussion, I was very upfront and laid it out. So this is why we're doing it. We haven't spoken about traffic and access solutions and Portaboom yet, but we started that for a reason. I'll probably get to that in a second. But we were so committed and thought this is who we are. We really want to get this happening. We want to change the behaviour, change the standards, help get that behaviour where we made a commitment ourselves within our business to get traffic controllers off the road. So we needed capital. we needed resources, and we had to make a decision. You know, what do we do here? Something's got to give. We'll either go out and get external parties in and get them involved, which we weren't too keen on because that could just complicate things. As soon as you do that, you're going to have shared goals, shared visions, shared values, and we're very strong on that. And so we thought that's not an option.
Yep.
So something's got to give. So we said, okay, let's. As much as we love being in Brisbane, I really enjoyed working in Brisbane. I thought I really loved it up there, but we said that's the one we need to offload, and so that's why we went to the market.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about Portaboom and how that all came about.
Like everything, you know, it's you look at every invention, you know, the stories around inventions, whether it's a light bulb or penicillin, it came through an accident. It was an accident. It was a critical accident. Luckily, no one was injured. One of our traffic controllers in 2012 was on the M5 East in Sydney. We do that job all the time. We did it the same all the time. And the access control was with barrier gates, barrier boards, I should say, not gates, barrier boards, or cones. And so there was a closure point, went up, saw the credentials of the contractor to allow him access to enter, went to remove the barrier board. The contractor, again, motorist, impatient, probably late for his delivery. I'm sure he didn't do it on purpose, but he was sort of intimidating our traffic controller, and then he said his foot slipped off the clutch. The truck catapults forward, our traffic controller jumps out of the way, and really just by millimetres doesn't get hit by the truck, right? So he's creeping up and then just lurched forward, and this guy jumps out of the way. All caught on CCTV. Was where our client at the time, they were doing the closures, and so our safety team was called into an immediate meeting. The discussion was all around, how do we solve this? I said, absolutely, how do we solve this? So, and that's where it went, and they said, we need them off the road. I said, beauty, we want them off the road. So traffic lights wasn't an option, that came up. And so, well, at the moment, the only thing that's on the market is a traffic light. They said, no way, it's an open lane. People breach red lights. And we said, yeah, we know that. The statistics show that. And so I said, well, how about we just put a barrier gate there? We can't do that because we can only be there for 6 to 7 hours, right? You've got to get on. I think the closure times were something like 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. So they said, no, we'll put a portable one. And Fabian came up, no, we'll put a portable one there. All right, that's a great idea. No, but it's like, it's a bloody great idea. Can you do it on the next closure? Yeah, no problem. Believing there was a solution out there somewhere, and there wasn't. And we Googled, and we researched, and we made phone calls. Nope. And everything was back, no. And I'm talking, we Googled everywhere, like North America, Europe, Asia. There's got to be something on wheels. There's got to be something that is portable to allow different access points at different times. Nothing. So, being who we are and as we do, we said, we said to the client that we're going to have a solution. We've got 4 weeks, I think. We've got to build one. So we built one. That's what we do. We had a couple of people do some work for us, and engineers, and we built this primitive, heavy, ugly. Steel, looks like steel, in 5 or 6 pieces, and put it together, and it was just literally, think about abstract art, but that's what it looked like. It was like
Picasso.
Yeah, it was a Picasso it wasn't called Portaboom at the time, Portable. It was like a barrier game.
Yep.
And I remember when I first saw it, I went, my God, are we going to the site like that? And I said, well, it complies, there's nothing wrong with it. But it was very sturdy, it did the job, and the first objective was, does it get the result that we're after? Forget about what it looks like, forget about how hard it is, because it's very hard to use, very hard to get off, very manual handling issues, every issue you can think about was in that first product. We took it to site, and the client absolutely loved it. I said, my God, this is perfect. Everyone's in a safe zone, it was working, but every closure, we're having that on site. And that's how it started. And when after a couple of months or 3 months, we really got it down packed, the application, like how we can apply it, how we can use it, what are the instructions, what are the verbal instructions. We sat down and I said, guys, guys, this doesn't make sense. We're using it on this access control because that was the original problem. Our biggest risk, which is much higher than access control, is stop slow. They're out there all the time. Access control, you just walk out at the point of opening or closing.
Yep.
Stop slow, our people are out on the road all the time, and the training says that you can't leave your post. So not only that, we're saying you're in danger, and guess what? You're going to stay in danger. Don't leave. So I got the team, who are much more technical savvy than me, and I said, why can't we do this on stop slow? We can. I said, that's what we're going to do then. That's a challenge. And that's what we started working on. We got the team together, safety, ops, a couple of team leaders, traffic controllers, management staff, and brainstormed it and had a look at the product and really looking at plans and looking at the Australian standards, looking at, because we're in Sydney, the traffic control at worksites manual.
Yep.
And we had some real good luck where the Australian standard and the TCALs already had, for some reason, clauses in there that said you can mount a stop sign on a boom barrier. So there's a bit of history behind that because we researched it. But basically, if you remember those old boom barriers where they've got the weight, the counterweight?
Yeah, counterweight.
Yeah, that was that, because back in 40 years ago, or whenever it was, they actually had a few of those out on certain, they were constructing roads.
Yep.
So it's remained in the Australian standards, remained in the TCALs.
Right.
And when we saw that, I just went, this is beautiful.
Yes.
Because we don't have to change anything. All we have to do is have a product that is approved, and we're out on the road. So, and that was the birth of Portaboom. We built a unit. We went to the RMS, presented our case. They gave us an interim approval, like immediately. They said this is, it was amazing. Interim approval, as saying only D&D can use it, and we want some report back on observations, and there were some covenants around what we can and can't do, which was basically nothing. Just as long as you comply with TCALs and Australian standard, you're fine.
Yep.
So we did that for about 6 months and just reported back, and we said, mate, this is really got massive legs. We're getting back. Our traffic controllers were saying how much safer they felt. They were happy with it. It took a bit of convincing. They were a bit scared. New product. Yep. I'm off the road. Does that mean, is my job going? All those usual questions. But once they understood it, it just really started taking off. And then we realised. We sat down. I said, "This is great because we want to have all our traffic controllers off the road. But this is bigger." I said, "This is bigger than us. This is not about us. This has to be about the industry. This has to be about all traffic controllers. So we have to make this available to everyone." And there was a bit of pushback because I said, "Oh, wait a minute. This is our competitive advantage. This is a product that we have that no one else has got. Why do we need to do that?" And again, I got full backing and said, it was simple. We have to do this because it is a game changer. It's a behaviour change. It's a legacy, and we can actually make a big difference to an industry that probably hasn't changed much in 40 years. And it's the only real solution to get traffic controllers off the road while the worksite is secure. It's secure. And I said, no, this is bigger than us, and we're taking it. And anyway, after some discussion, we said, yep, we agree. And that was the birth of Traffic and Access Solutions. We went to the Australian Roads Research Board off the advice from the RMS, saying they're the ones you need to go through. It took 12 months for them to approve it. And then we actually did a road trip, went to each state authority, yep. Which everyone was really good to work with, and they approved the product. And that's it. Then we basically started saying, okay guys, now it's education time. This is what it is, this is how it works.
And how's that whole education process going?
Because still going.
In my little bit of experience in the industry, we're often not very accepting of anything that changes the way that
yep.
things have always been done.
Yep. And this is no different. Very difficult. And it's still going.
Yep.
It's still going. And we never ever, and this was a rule we put in place right at the start. So we're not there to sell, to not sell. We're not here. Don't worry about selling. we have to, it's all about the education, because no one will understand, even though we all know, everyone believes they know traffic, like, because we've all been doing it the same way. It is, the beauty about the product is nothing has to change. The traffic guidance schemes, traffic control schemes don't have to change. All this stuff really does, instead of having a traffic controller on the road in that position, you draw that person off the road and you replace it with a Portaboom. And then you have some additional advisory signs or advanced warning signs, right? Yep. But the behaviour of it changes, because now all of a sudden traffic controllers, the rule is, the one major rule change was from standard stop slow, you must stay on your post. The Portaboom rule is you stand well away from your post and you stay mobile. Yep. You never stand in one position. So when we actually did it first in D&D, it was so funny. I remember the first few jobs, the Portaboom will go down, the traffic controller was right next to it, because they believed they're so used to being there, and they're like, we're going, no, all right guys, come with us. And we walked 20, 30 metres away on the grass, on the curb, walk up and down. You can do sign checks, help pedestrians, help access control, like the driveway management. Talk to the clients, everything okay, you happy, yep, what's happening? And then they'll tell you when they're going to be laying the cable, or dropping poles across the road. So everything is about not on your post, in safe zone all the time, and just remain mobile. And it sounds so easy, but when you're doing something for so long, the first reaction is, no, I've got to be here, I've got to be here, I've got to be here. So we had to really get that away. And that was in our business, which we developed the product, we built all the training around it, and still that's how difficult it was. Yep. So getting that out to the industry is like 10 times harder. It's incredible. And you're dead right. It's people are scared of change. So, but it's just it will not end. It will never end.
So you guys are talking about education over, a sales process. Well, obviously you've got this company, you've got this product, but from an education standpoint, for industry and for industry participants, so traffic controllers, how are you guys going about that? Like, you guys are obviously here today.
Yep.
Traffic controllers don't come to this.
No.
So are you guys trying to get directly in front of the traffic controllers?
Yeah. So especially in the first year, I mentioned that road trip. We went to, while we're in all those states, we're going to each road authority. We're going to the Traffic Management Association meetings. Yep. We're getting in front of traffic control companies and basically just presenting and educating. This is what the product, this is how it works, this is what it looks like, this is the difference, this is what it means. And right at the end, they'll always say, oh yeah, but how much is it? And that's right at the end, right? And we say, well, everything comes down to that. It's very important. And once they understood that and did the conversion, they realised, wow, this is a no-brainer. Because it got to a point where I started thinking that we're sort of a victim here of not of our own success, because we hadn't succeeded yet, but we're the victim of the product actually being too good to be true. Mm-hmm. And I know that sounds funny, but I'll explain that. Everything is about safety. Everyone talks it, everyone wants to live it, and sometimes people find it hard to implement because it needs investment, it needs more training, it needs more capital, it needs more smart technology. And they're going, oh, I can't get the return on that. The clients won't want to pay for that. It's usually the same stories, right? So we've come up with a product that, yes, there's an upfront capital cost. It gets traffic controls off the road, which everyone wants to do. I mean, you speak to every traffic control company, no matter how large or how small, they'll say, oh, we love our guys to be off the road. So that you can imagine my frustration.
Yep. Do you really want your guys to be off the road?
We have the solution. It's there. It's in front of you. Okay, how? There it is. And then you explain the safety side, which is, okay, everyone gets it. It's so much more value and safe because it's a physical barrier, secures the worksite. Traffic controllers do stop slow from 20 metres away up to 100 metres away from that stop slow point. Contractors who are working on the road feel safe. It's a clear instruction. Motorists know what's happening. Motorists slow down because when they see a boom arm, they don't want to damage their car, so they all slow down. traffic lights, they speed up because I want to get that orange light or beat the red. Yep, that all makes sense. And so then we get to the commercial side. So this is your investment, and this is how additional value you can put to site. And once you do the sums, and we go there, the return on investment, and they see the margins, and because it's all about the margin, they want to make sure that there's margin involved. So yes, there is, and this is where it is. And they realise that they're getting high margins from that site. The client gets a saving as well from more efficient sites. And it's minimised crews, but it's efficient crews. That's when it started going, mate, what am I missing? And then I said, I'm missing something here. Can't be that good. I said, well, it is. Like, ask me it's all here. And I started thinking that started working against us, because we live in a society now, and it's human nature.
Skeptical.
It's, our human nature is, when it's too good to be true, it's not, like something's going on. And believe it or not, we had to start changing our conversations a bit. And I said, he's back on the commercial side, because yes, it is important, but it's not going to be the deal breaker. This is going to be the deal breaker. So we started selling more on the site safety, lower incidents, speed calming, motorists slowing down, workers' comp. You're saving your employees, traffic controllers, your contractors, and it's not going to cost you any more over the long run. You'll be fine. And then when we start getting the first few in there, and then we get the phone calls, mate, this is brilliant. And we just have to break that first barrier down, and as soon as we get through that first one, it just falls like dominoes. But each particular company is the same. We've got to get through that first barrier. We all know there's a lagging curve, right? So our first strategy was we have to go to the ones that really believe in innovation, the ones that are leaders. And I have to, again, Warp, we sold our D&D business to Warp in Brisbane, but Steve O'Dwyer with Warp, he caught onto it immediately, and he was the first one that said to me, he goes, you don't have to, I want it. And this was before we sold we did a deal in Brisbane, the Brisbane sale, because he got it immediately. And I thought, this is the people we want to deal with, because you need the leaders to go out there, and then as soon as you get one or two companies who grasp it, people will follow. And then you've got the last ones are lagging at the end. It's an economic principle that works still today, right? So that was our first strategy, and two is getting principal contractors. So we're going to all the large players, and they have to pull the demand. And so that was strategy number two, just get in front of them saying, you need to see this, and ask yourself, why are you not pushing this on your sites? And then all of a sudden it starts being included in tenders. And it's still going. Yeah.
It's a very, you touched on it before, it's a very easy product to understand. Like, you really don't have to explain what the product is and what the benefits of it are. It almost makes it unreasonable not to be using it, not to be sticking it in a tender, to have it as a requirement on your worksite as a principal contractor. Because it makes so much easy sense.
That's right.
It's and there's not many products out there in our industry, certainly, that are like that. It's stop, slow, but it's a very easy product to understand. Right. It says stop, it says slow. From a safety product perspective, all of this shit here is not an obvious solution.
Mate, it's a good point. So a couple of things. Yes, you're 100% correct. Like everything, Australia's a hard place to get innovation happening. And that could be a bad thing, but it also could be a good thing, because we ask the right questions. And we challenge a product, and we challenge a system, because once it's out there, we want to make sure it's right. So it's not sometimes you feel as though it's so hard to get things off the ground here and to comply and go and get it approved by all these organisations. But you look at the positive side of it, you know what? It just means, to me, I say, let's stop whinging about it. It just means people are asking the right questions, they're doing their job. You always have to challenge something. And you don't ask 10 questions, ask 100 questions. So that's fine. Two, you're always going to have some people trying to take it down. We live in a competitive environment, and you're coming out with something that's so good, and someone's missed out, or they haven't come up with anything to try to, someone will try to influence, put some innuendo out there. It doesn't work. This is what's happened. that doesn't bother me either one, because I know that the truth will always win in the end. It's not a drama, and it has now, we're still there, and momentum only just picks up. And I'm thinking, let them speak more about it, let them drag it down, because it's only doing us, to me, it's only doing us a favour. Because what all those people are going, everybody talking about, who are these guys? And we're getting inquiries that we would never have had. So it's actually worked in our favour. So again, that's fine, but that's again the landscape that we live in. You're dead right around this place, because yesterday we have our stand back there, and we were flat out all day. So much so that there's a couple of guys that come up and said, you could hear them. I could hear them in the background. Bloody hell, I need a ticket to come and see these guys. I need a ticket. Where do I get my ticket from? And I felt so proud of that. I said, it's so true. We have been flat out all day. And someone, again, finally they came in and goes, it's so hard to just have a chat to you guys. It's like you had a line up here. And then I sort of thought about it, and I said, well, I think it's really only for one reason. I said, what's that? And I went, unique product. I said, but it's a product of relevance in any industry or any company that's at this expo. Whether you're a traffic control company, whether you're a council, whether you're a Vic Roads or an RMS or Main Roads, whether you're a civil contractor, whether you're building, construction, line marker, landscaper, it's a product of relevance. They all can use the product. They all come in and say, a line marker comes in and goes, because we've had line marking clients, here's a local line marker in and said, mate, I need to talk to you about this. There's a line marker. So it's a product of relevance that anyone can use. If we had event management here, the event management company will come up and say, how do I use this? Because event management is a massive application of the tool as well, of Portaboom. So I put it down to that last night. I said, our product is one of relevance on every single person here. And I said, that's why they were there. They were generally interested about, all right, what's next?
What is next?
So, good question. We got a lot of things happening at the moment. We've used this expo to launch the L series. So Portaboom was exactly that. It was a PB2000 was the model, which is just the barrier gate, the portable barrier gate, which is great. From that, we had a decision to make, because clients love it. Everything's going well. They always come back with feedback. They always want their little tweak done. There are little things, right? And I'm thinking, well, we can't do 100 things to it, but we can do a few things. So, and one of them was, there was a couple of big, larger contractors, larger multinationals that were pushing, say, listen, can we put the traffic, they really wanted a traffic light on it. I said, we don't use traffic lights, but we think we put that on there, and this is going to blow everyone out of the water. So we did. We launched that, and that's what we did for this expo. That's the official launch, and what you see now is a whole integrated model of traffic light, pedestrian light, activation sensors, auto sensors, keypad control, GSM, Bluetooth, all those sorts of things. So that took a lot of work, but we've launched that now. And so much so that every model that we deliver from today onwards will be the L series. It doesn't mean you have to have lights, it just means it's capable. So you buy it, if you want it, that's great, and then 2 months you go, all right, we need a light now, you can just go and grab that light, put it on there, plug it in, it's ready to go. So that's the big one that we've done now. So that's taken a bit of work. We're concentrating on that. And also we have our distributors and hire companies who will be delivering that to them, and educating and training. So we have to train them all on that, because at the moment we've kept everyone in the dark on it. And it's all right.
There's a bit of cloak and dagger and
it was the worst kept secret, I think.
Everyone was speculating.
It was the worst kept secret in the industry, but we actually found that pretty funny, and it worked because they all laughed and said, we knew it was going to be a light. And I said, but listen, you're here, so let's go through it now. So it was quite funny, but it was really, really good, worked well. And so everything moving forward now will be in that L series, which is pretty good. And we've been able to do it at the same price. And obviously, just if you want to add the light, that's just the additional cost. And if anyone's got the original model, we can retro we can retrofit as well, which is important because the models that they've got now, they should be able to keep them for years to come. You know, so you don't have to replace them. Just keep it. We'll just retrofit. So that's what's happening right now. Yep. Traffic access solutions is about safe, smart work sites. So everything we do now, we've had inquiries about, would you get into other traffic products? Yes, we've already got. We've got a innovation ideas think tank, if you like, that we're always working on. But none of them will be around existing products. You'll never see us at a stand like this, looking at arrow boards or VMSs or you've got experts on them. That's their field. Yep. Safe, smart work sites for us is that things that don't currently exist. Yep. If they do, we might change it to the way we think, and so we'll always have that table. And now we're also working on a couple of we've got big overseas interest in the product, so we've got some trials happening in the UK, and then we've got things potentially happening in North America as well. But these are just relationships trying to build because they see they've done their own research and inquiries, and they want to start a discussion about how it could work in their environment.
Somebody else had the same problem. They started Googling and then found you guys, whereas you guys found nothing.
No, absolutely. That's exactly how it worked. And we all of a sudden we have web inquiries saying, can we talk? So there's a lot of exciting things ahead, and the most important thing for us is that we remain true to the product. So even with this Cell series, it takes a long time because the strength we have is that because we're in the traffic control industry, we've suffered all the pain. Yep. We still suffer a lot of the pain that every other traffic control suffers. So we know the hurt, we know the problem points, we know the good points. Yep. So when we build a product like this, we have a philosophy around it, and it has to meet the four build philosophies. Yep. And if it doesn't, if you've got an idea and it doesn't meet those four, we bid it. If it meets the four, then we'll go to stage 2. We'll go, all right, let's look at this. If there's a name that works, if it really is what people are after. Yep. Whatever products we do, we stay true to those products. So like I said, we don't release another one and say, oh, by the way, Adam, you just bought all those Portabooms, last year, but we've upgraded now. They're pretty much irrelevant now. You have to buy these ones. No, not at all. Your investment is safe, and we'll make sure that you maintain value in that investment. So that's very, very important. We've worked closely with all the authorities and organisations. Our message is quite simple and quite clear. I have a saying, and then ideas are ideas, and ideas are celebrated, right? You come up with a good idea, that's an awesome idea, and everyone's got them, which is great. But execution is worshipped. Nothing. If you can't execute, forget about it. And I think it was General Patton who said, I'd rather a bad plan executed well than a good plan not executed, and it's 100% correct. So my point with all that is, that's all we do, and whether it's in our traffic space, doing the traffic management or traffic and access solutions, we're very simple in the fact that we look at people and say, we will do what we say we're going to do. I said that to a large joint venture that we're sort of having discussions with, and the project director asked me, what makes you guys, why is everyone talking about you, why are you so special? I said, sadly, it's only because we do what we say we're going to do, and we don't sleep until we get it done. And if we won't, we'll tell you it's not going to get done. And that's all, it's that simple. But it's one of our rules. We'll put it up there. What's our next plan for the next 12 months? Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Don't forget who we are, and do what we say we're going to do. So so it's exciting, it's good, hard work, but we're looking forward to it. So
Happy days, mate. Thanks very much for your time.
No worries, thanks, mate.
Appreciate it.
Always.
You here all day?
All here all day.
Yeah. Hey everybody, thanks very much for enjoying the video today. I hope you got some value out of the conversation. Don't forget to like the video and share with your friends and colleagues. And if you haven't already subscribed, jump on and click the subscribe button below. Traffic Talk is Australia's only traffic management conversation happening online today. Have a great day.